Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the most exciting Monday Money Tip Podcast episode ever. Episode number?
61.
Yes, it's the start of September, and my name is Joseph Sangle. I am the leader of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, and Megan Hibbard. Make sure everything stays in order, and make sure the website looks good. Tell everybody else what are other things you do to make us great.
Oh, man. It's just a lot of, you have your hands in everything. Small business props. But that's the part that I love.
So you do web work, graphics work, podcast work. You do
emails,
project management, lots of resources. So in breaking news, which I said in the last episode.
Leaked it a little bit last time.
I leaked some news out. I'm going to tell some more about it here in our favorite section of the podcast. But we're so excited. It's episode number 61. Tell everybody what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, so we've talked a lot about various rungs of the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder. And so in this week's episode, we're going to walk through each of the rungs and help you identify your next financial step that you can take.
Yes, and I'm so excited about this. The I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder, we talk about it all the time, climbing different rungs. Today, we're going to try to explain a little bit of that. Now, I can teach for at least 2 hours on each rung of the ladder, maybe 5 hours, because there's layers. We're going to go through it a little quickly, but I think it's going to really help every single person identify where they are right now in their financial journey and what the next step is they need to take. One of the things that is important about it is that sometimes we have rungs that we've taken financial steps out of order, and this will put them in order. Mm-hmm. There's also this competition a lot of times in our mind with competing financial decisions. I need to save money, but I'd like to pay off debt. I can't really do both. Mm-hmm. I'd like to invest money for retirement. Oh, yeah, my kids want money for college. I want to be able to give more money away, but, I want to replace the car someday. And so we're going to help make those decisions be more clear for each person, too, through the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder. It'll be awesome.
But
first, my most favorite section of the podcast, let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not Next Steps page. When you are looking for information pertaining to your next step up the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder, just visit iwbnin.com and click on Next Steps. There you'll find all the resources we recommend to help you take your next step.
Absolutely. And so I am so fired up to be able to talk about this current money event topic, and that is the fear of investing. The fear. Halloween's coming up soon. Do you like Halloween?
Not really.
You like dressing up and all that stuff?
I mean, I think I like it better now because I have a little boy.
Yeah.
And so, we can, start
I
doing
bought a
Halloween
morph
again.
suit one year, a green morph suit, which you've seen me showcase around here.
Run down the interstate.
Yeah.
Well, not interstate, but it's like
I still can't believe you guys got me to do that. But a morph suit is frightening, and I ran into that. So I kind of like that. But here's what I'm going to talk about is the fear of investing. A lot of people have fear about investing. Do you like losing money?
No.
Do you know anyone who likes losing money? Nah. And so, but there is a fear with it. The market goes up, it goes down. Over time, it's went up and all the way around. It's like a roller coaster, baby. Isn't that awesome? It's great. And so fear drives us to do really weird things, especially when it's matched up and paired up with our money. It causes us to put money in glass jars and bury them in the yard.
Are you not supposed to do that?
You would put them in a mattress, a pillowcase in the bottom of the freezer. Let's face it. It's outright weird behavior. It's driven by fear. Scared. Fear of losing it. Fear of it being stolen. Fear of not having it. And so the Simple Dollar put up a humorous post. I don't know if was their intent for it to be humorous, but I thought it was very humorous on ways to hide money at your house. So I thought it'd be awesome for this current money event section to talk about weird ways to hide your money in your house. Isn't that awesome? We'll have a link to this whole article because I can't go through all these 25 or 30 of them. But it really is awesome. I want to share 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them. One of them is you can store money in a watertight plastic bottle or jar in the tank on the back of your toilet.
I feel like I've seen movies where they hide stuff in the tank.
Yeah, I've seen one where they hid a pistol there, all that stuff. But I mean, I I mean, they say that money is like dirty. Like they say there are a lot of germs on it.
Yeah.
Some
So
people
put it in
are
your
hiding
toilet?
it in their toilet. Oh my gosh, that's awful. All right, here's another one. In an empty aspirin bottle in the bathroom, bundled up with a rubber band around it.
See, I feel like if you just had an aspirin bottle, nobody would really think twice about it. But why do you got to rubber-band it?
I don't know why.
Those
Seems weird.
They're like child protected. Like
Yeah.
they're like, it's not coming off.
I don't know. If I have a headache and I find $1,000, I'm not going to have a headache anymore. So please hide your aspirin bottle in my medicine cabinet. That'd be awesome. Here's another one. In an envelope taped to the bottom of your cat's litter box.
No.
That's so good. Yeah, here, kitty. And it's in the bottom of your cat's litter box.
Nice.
Pretty safe there.
Be careful. Make sure your
My
cat doesn't
kids
eat
would
it.
never find it. They're not going to do that. No
That's
one's
true.
going to clean that. Here's another one. In an envelope, a lot of stuff is in envelopes.
Yeah.
Taped to the back of a wall decoration.
That's definitely what they do in the movies.
Yeah, on the back of a framed picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I get all my knowledge from movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently.
That's awesome. It's great. Here's another one. In between several pages in a random book or two on your bookshelf.
Ooh. Or you like cut the pages out.
Yeah.
Like big sections, and then you put it in there.
So listen, my dad loves books. He buys books. My mother, can't really take it, but he goes to a rummage sale, a yard sale, auction. And if they have a box of books, how much do you think the box of books normally averages?
$10.
10 cents.
Yeah.
Everybody gets, no one wants a giant box of books, but my dad does. And one day he went to an auction. He came home. It was a yard sale actually. And he was just thumbing through the books and looking at all the books because he just is a voracious reader, has been all my life. And all of a sudden stock certificates started falling out of it.
Oh my.
Like not one, like a lot. And it turns out a lot of the companies that went bankrupt, which should be your notice that you should diversify your investments, but some of them were very valuable. And he actually knew the people and he actually took it back to them and said, did you know your grandpa kind of had a lot of valuable stuff here? And it was in the day that you actually had their certificate and whoever had the certificate had ownership. It was like money.
Wow. It's a
Pretty
good
amazing.
man right there.
But my dad took it back. And so I had to pay for my college instead. But here's another one. In a plastic, you could hide money around your house in a plastic baggie inside of a flour or coffee container. Now, that would not be a good place around our office in the coffee
No.
container because we empty a container of coffee in about 3 days.
You would definitely find it.
Everybody would find it. But put it in flour. Think about that. What a mess that would be. You would definitely know somebody had stolen it if it's
You'd
gone.
be able to see flour everywhere.
That's it. And so that's crazy. I mean, we're just weird with our money. So maybe you do weird things with your money. We'd love to hear the weird ways that you hide money. Of course, don't give us your name or address.
We will come there and get the
But
money.
here's what I know. I'm not going to tell you that mine are in mason jars hidden 13 steps away from the oak tree. And that's it for today's current money events.
Now we're all
section.
we're all coming to your house and looking at all your oak trees. All right, so now we have a success story, and this success story is from Raquel. And Raquel says, "Praise God, I'm already debt-free, including my home." Wow, we could just stop right there, but it keeps going. I took the workshop offered at church, read the book, and participated in group discussions. I love your approach to the structure of your debt-free and money management message. I intend to not only utilize your principles in my life, but will share them with others.
That is awesome, Raquel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, number one, for sharing your success story with us and encouraging all the listeners of the Money Tip podcast. But I want to speak to it. I always like to just kind of do a little analysis of it. Number one, she is already there. She could have been teaching the class. She's debt-free already, including her home. Fantastic job, Raquel. I don't know where you learned that from, your family members, or it was modeled for you, or it's just how you're wired. But what I love is the fact that you still participated in the study. And I think a lot of people choose not to participate in the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not study because they say, well, I'm not broke. I don't need that. But the value that you bring to the table of sharing your story with others in your group, they can take great inspiration from you. And I call it you're making deposits in other people's belief banks. You know, we all have a belief bank. And the belief bank is whether or not we believe this dream could happen for us, that we could become debt-free, that we could invest, that we could help our kids with college, we could leave an inheritance, we could own that house, that car, be generous, outrageously generous. And when somebody has had great success, their belief bank is full. And they can make deposits in other people's belief bank that says, look, I used to be where you are because I made these decisions. I am no longer there. So if you need to borrow some belief, borrow some from me. And that is such a great thing. So thanks for being a part of the study, Raquel. And I'm so grateful that you took time to share your story. Congrats on being debt-free, including your home. You're at least on rung 8 of the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. And just because you're not quote unquote broke doesn't mean that you can't learn something from the study as well. You know, we're talking about investing. We're talking about much more than just having actual cash in the bank.
That's
so
it.
There's definitely things that can be learned. So if your church is, participating in the study, make sure you hop in there. Or, we have it. You can do it on your own with our online version. So there's lots of things you can learn besides just, oh, I'm broke, I need help. But you can always take a next step. And that leads us right into what should your next step be. Perfect segue. You think I would have planned it, but I didn't.
Good work. There's a reason you're on the podcast.
All right. So today we are breaking down the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder. So if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to have all the rungs on the TV.
Yeah, this is actually an episode where it may make sense for you to go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Monday Money Tip, episode number 61.
Yep. All right. So let's get started with rung number 1. Are you ready?
Yes. Go. You read number 1.
All right. Rung number 1 is set goals.
That's right. And so we're climbing a ladder. It takes effort to climb a ladder. Did you know that? Energy to climb a ladder?
Yes.
When's the last time you climbed a ladder? Hanging Christmas lights.
Yeah, Christmas.
Cutting down tree limbs that were broke off, kind of.
Yeah, replacing a light bulb. Maybe that's we have really high ceilings.
Did it take effort to climb a ladder? Or did you levitate up it? Well, other than Megan, who levitates, apparently.
No. It does take effort. Make sure you don't fall off as well.
And it takes effort to stay there,
Yeah.
too. And it's sometimes a little scary when you go up to another level.
It is very scary.
And so rung number 1, we're climbing to this fully funded life. And that's why we call it a ladder, is to live a fully funded life will take energy and effort to go up each step. It will take energy and effort to remain on each step. And sometimes you will go to new heights. And your perspective will change about money and life as you climb up this ladder. And we want every single person to start by knowing why they're doing all these financial decisions in the first place. And the first one is to set goals. Let me ask a question right now. As you drive your car, it's Monday morning, or whatever day you're listening to this podcast, you're jogging, you're whatever it is, you're on your bike, you're listening to this with your spouse. Do you have your plans, hopes, and dreams written down? Have you set goals for your life? In a newsflash, I said I would update on this episode, and so I am writing a new book. Pretty excited. It's releasing in a couple months, and it's about this very topic, about setting goals, and I'm trying to connect dreams with dollars is what I'm trying to do in this book, and we'll see if I'm successful at it, but it is the truth that those who write down their plans, hopes, and dreams are much more likely to accomplish them than those that do not write them down. And more than 50% of adults have never taken the time to write down their plans, hopes, and dreams. So I encourage you, if you're listening to this podcast and you ever wrote down your plans, hopes, and dreams, and you're struggling to do things like budgeting, sticking with investment decisions, sticking with longer-term good financial decisions, I would submit to you one of those reasons you're having difficulty is because you do not know your why. You don't know the reasons you need to have a budget. Because trust me, when you write down all your goals, the places you want to travel, how much money you want to give away, the things you want to do for your kids, the events you want to attend, and when you write all that down, the place you'd like to live, the second home you'd like to have at the beach, whatever it might be, when you have those written down, it will help you stick to those financial decisions of budgeting, investing much more easily. And so set goals. It's rung number 1.
Yeah.
What would you say into any of that?
Yeah. So, Jordan and I, my husband and I, we do it, a few times a year. A lot of times we do it on our anniversary. So we look back and,
good
talk
timing.
through goals for the next year and plans and short-term, long-term. And then also New Year's is always a good time to do it. I mean, I feel like that's like the generic time to do it. But for us, like we're constantly talking. My husband is a big dreamer. And so we're constantly talking about our dreams, what we want to accomplish, what we want to do, investment properties we want to have or where we want to live or where we want to travel. Or now we have Logan, where we want to take him and things we want to show him. So for us, it's always a constant conversation. But having those designated times, we know, hey, our anniversary is in October. That's time when we're definitely going to talk about it. Or having like whatever it may be for you. Maybe it's a birthday or maybe it's, we have all of our friends at our birthdays. We always talk about like what are your goals for this year? What do you want to accomplish in your X number of year? So finding a time when you can, okay, this is the time this year we're talking about, hey, what's a goal we want to have for this year? What's the goal we want to have 5 years, 10 years, long-term, short-term? Just for us, that's how we do it, and that's what works. But
that's really good. And so just to kind of summarize what I heard there is you have a rhythm for reviewing this and updating it. And I encourage you, if you don't have them written down, this is your day to start. Start writing them down now. It's your next date night, whatever it is. If you have a significant other in your life, that one you're going to marry or you're already married, you need to know what each other's dreams are. You have shared ones and you have individual ones. Make sure you write them down. That's rung number 1 of the ladder. Once you've done that, you get to climb up another rung. And what rung is that?
Rung number 2. So rung number 2 is save money, and you start with 1 month of expenses.
That's right. 1 month's worth of expenses. And so this isn't a specified number like $1,000, $5,000, $3,200. It's whatever 1 month of expenses are for your life, your household. And so that's different. I learned that $1,000 is different in New York City than it is in Anderson, South Carolina.
Yes.
$1,000 is different in Seattle, San Francisco than it is in Pikeville, Kentucky. It's just totally different.
Yeah.
And so the way that we have inflation-proofed this number and the way that we have made this relevant, every single person who does this ladder is say target 1 month's worth of expenses. So you sum up what it takes to pay for your housing, all the utilities, food, travel, whatever it is that makes your life go. That's your number. That's your target. How do you fund it? You can fund it with a tax refund. You can fund it with extra work. You can fund it by cutting out expenses for a while.
Side hustle
money. Here's what I know. Get that 1 month's worth of expenses. It allows you to have great benefit in your life. You have margin. You can accommodate unexpected expenses. And it also allows you to move to monthly budgeting regardless of whether or not you're paid weekly, biweekly, or twice monthly.
It allows you to breathe a little bit easier too, because when that unexpected expense happens, you're not freaking out on how you're going to pay for it. You're not having to swipe the credit card. You have that money there.
And so think about that. That's a lot of margin for most people. It's somewhere between $2,500 to $6,000 for the average family. A lot of money just sitting there to protect you. And then after you achieve that, it's time to climb up to rung number 3. What's that?
All right, now we're getting into the investing. So rung number 3 is invest enough to capture your full company match, or if your company doesn't do it, $100 a month, or whichever's greater.
And so this is really important. If your company has a company match for the retirement account and you're not getting that full match, that's awful. You literally are choosing not to receive free money. Do you know for certain that you are getting every dollar that the company will match in your retirement account? If you do not, you need to go to Human Resources today or the next day you go to work and make sure that you're contributing enough to get the full company match. It's free money. However, many people are 1099 contract employees, or they're self-employed, or they work for a small employer who does not have a retirement account. And so if that's you, I encourage you to set up a Roth IRA. You can use it at schwab.com. You can look under our next steps area under investing, vanguard.com. But I like schwab.com because you can start with as little as $25 and set up that Roth IRA and start contributing at least $100 a month and invest that money, because it allows you to see the power of compound interest. And that's something extraordinarily important. Once you've done that, you can climb on up to rung number 4, which is to eliminate all non-house and non-business debt.
Yep.
So this is your student loans. This is credit cards, furniture. I owe mom and dad a car payment, truck payment, boat payment, four-wheeler payment. Any debt, not including the house or business debt if you have a business. Is that a great moment when you become debt-free except for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the average family, they can achieve it in 12 to 36 months, 1 to 3 years.
Pretty crazy.
Including the student loans for real. Not 30 years, 3 years. And so that is a huge moment when people become debt-free, except for the house, and if they have a business, their business. This is when they become very stable financially. And they free up all this payment money. The average family, Megan, is paying $500 to $1,500 a month in non-house debt payments. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so once you free that up, I know this is crazy, but when you get debt free except for the house, guess what happens the next month with that payment money? You get to keep it.
You can do something else with it. You save it, invest it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of other things besides send it to a bank.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? And so that's rung number 5. You climb on up to rung number 5 and you expand your savings. that you started in rung number 2, which was 1 month's worth of expenses, to make it at least 3 months worth of expenses. And so this is a nuance that I understand because I pay attention to it so closely. But your expense base, your monthly expenses, because you've now eliminated all your non-house debt, how much you need per month is far less, right?
Right.
And so that amount that you had saved for 1 month's worth of expenses in rung 2 is now worth more than 1 month's worth of expenses. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say $5,000 was your number and $1,000 of that was payments. Well, now your 1 month's expenses is $4,000. So if you've kept that $5,000, you now have 1.25 months worth of savings. And now you freed up that $1,000 a month. Well, how long will it take you to get 3 months worth of that? $4,000 now is your new base expenses. So it's $12,000. You already have 5. It's only 7 more months. And you're done with rung number 5. You've saved 3 months worth of expenses and you have 12 grand sitting in savings. Is that crazy?
It's crazy.
Fires me up. In 6 to 12 months, the average person can achieve rung 5 after getting done paying off all their non-house, non-business debt.
Yep.
So after that, you've freed up that payment money. You've achieved the minimum of 3 months worth of expenses in savings. That's rung 5. Tell everybody what rung 6 is.
So rung 6, you're going to place 15% of your gross income into tax advantage investments.
That's right. And so this is super important because you've already started investing in rung number 3 with that enough to get the company match or $100 a month, whichever is greater. Now you can take this payment money you freed up that you were using to pay all this non-house, non-business debt in rung 4 and then subsequently build up your savings in rung 5. You can grow your investments to 15% of your gross income before tax income into tax advantage investments. And that's a great day. It's at this moment that you move into what I call surplus living. You know, down at rung 1, 2, and 3, you're kind of struggling.
Mm-hmm.
You get in the middle of rung 3 and 4, 5, you're moving into stability. And then you move into rung 6 and up, you run into surplus mode. And it's a great thing where you have more than enough each month. After you get that monthly contribution of 15%, what do you do with any extra money you receive?
Yep.
That's rung number 7.
So then we're on rung number 7, and you're going to pay off the house and business debt.
That's right. And so you can use this extra money. Think about this. You've got 3 months worth of money in savings. You've paid off all your non-house debt. You've got 15% of your gross income going into retirement contributions and college savings. It's tax advantage investments. Now you're paying off your house. And it takes on average 7 to 10 years from the day you start your whole debt freedom journey to pay off the house, even if it's on a 30-year note. Isn't that awesome? And so that, and the average person frees up $1,250 to $2,000 or more per month.
Wow.
Woo! Get fired up. And so that's just a great moment. And when you achieve that, and I remember achieving that when I was 38, it was a great moment. You liberate all of the money that used to go to debt, the non-house debt in rung 4, and now the house debt. What do you do with that extra money? You go to rung number 8. Share with everybody what that is.
Rung number 8 is place 30% of gross income into tax advantage investments.
That's right. So what you were doing in rung 3 of getting the company match, rung 6 of getting 15%, now you just bump it on up to 30%. And I like to say in this moment, you're positioned not only to bless many, you can bless multitudes. You position yours, and the sooner you get there in your life, the greater your chance for a huge worldwide impact. And so I don't know what your goals are for your life, and whether it's just to affect your family, which is a noble and great and worthwhile cause, or if you have bigger dreams to affect, communities around the world. Well, the sooner you get debt free and can invest that money and get your money working for you, well, then you will be doing yourself a great favor to become debt free soon. And after you get done with rung 8, you get to move on up to rung number 9. And what do we call that?
We call it live a great life.
That's right. And so it's kind of a weird next step, but you're standing on top of the ladder and you're living this great life. Think about it. You have no debt. You've got tons of savings. Your money is working for you all around you, and you have enough money not only to live and provide for your family and all these great dreams you have, but you can bless people that may not ever even meet you this side of heaven. And that is a great life, what we call a fully funded life. Being able to do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of its cost or the income potential it might have for you. And that's what we want to help everybody do, is live a fully funded life.
Yep.
And so one of the things that I wanted to finish with is that this ladder, if you're climbing a ladder, before you go up it, you want to make sure it has a solid foundation under it. So there are many foundational elements, and I share those in detail. Chapter 4 of my book, I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. I encourage you to pick up a copy at Amazon or at iwbnin.com. But here's what I know. The foundational elements are budgeting, giving, insurance, having financial mentors and coaches. It's knowledge, education. There are many things that help underpin our climb up the ladder and keep this ladder stable as we go up. And so you can climb this ladder. And I saw this quote from Ayn Rand, has several quotes, but she said, the ladder of success is best climbed by stepping on the rungs of opportunity. And that's what I view each rung of these ladder is an opportunity for you to climb up and get a better perspective of life and an ability to move out of the rat race of just living for the weekend, of trying to make it to the next payday, of I owe, so off to work I go. You get to live this full and abundant life, being a blessing to all who meet you and know you. And as I've always said, more money won't change who you are. It will amplify who you already are. So make sure at the heart of all this, you understand your why. And that's why it goes all the way back to rung number 1, your first step, knowing your why.
Yep.
Very awesome.
So you can get a copy of the ladder you can go to iwbnin.com/ladder, or we'll also include a link in the show notes. So if you want to download a copy of that, you can hang it up where you pay your bills or where you work on your money. It has goal dates in the actual ladder where you can write in a goal date that you have for each of these. And like Joe said, he breaks it down a lot more in the book, I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. So if you don't already have a copy of that, make sure you pick it up. If you have a copy of that, maybe you want to go back and reread chapter 4. Or
yes.
4, and I think it's in multiple. Is it just chapter 4 or is it multiple
Well,
chapters?
we talk about it all throughout the book,
Yeah.
but chapter 4 is focused on teaching the ladder.
Yep. So make sure you do that. On our next episode, we're going to talk about retirement again.
Yes.
So how much money do I need to retire? The answer, well, it depends. And we'll talk about it in the next episode of the podcast. So whether you're a few years away from retiring or maybe a few decades away, this is important information for you to hear and act upon. So this is going to be a good one.
I can't wait for this one.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be
Big
good.
numbers. I'm not scared.
And if you like today's episode, please help us get the podcast to others who could benefit. So you could do this by quickly rating and leaving a review of our podcast, and this will help us make it better for others. And also, don't forget, on the last Monday of the month, we're going to be answering your top money questions. So if you have a question you'd like to be answered, please email us or send it to us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever your means of communicating is. So you can email us at info@iwbnin.com, and it could be featured on the podcast. And also, if you've implemented one of our tips, make sure you share your success story with us. We could also feature that in our success story section.
That's it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate everybody who does that for us. We really want to serve you guys and serve you well and be able to reach everybody that is in your network of friends and family. I'll finish with this thought, and it's a deep thought. I want you to think about it as you finish your drive, your jog, your run, is when you get to the top of this ladder, sometimes you look around and there's a plateau and there's a new cliff in front of you. Sometimes you got to reach down, pull this ladder up, and go up the ladder again. Think about it. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.